What's happening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unparalleled Sports Talk with Joe's Kwame Fisher Jones. As always, I am him, talking some NBA playoffs, NBA hoops, and inevitably Kevin Durant at some point. Well, man, Everett Terry Jr., aka Sports Talk Terry, on all social media platforms. Now, before we get into what we are going to talk about, what we're not going to talk about is the Sixers. You mentioned it. You said we hope we get into it. No. What is it? Ali Sadiq has a great the comedian, he's got a great story about this. He says his father told him, one of the things his father told him, his father ain't telling him much in life, but one of the things he told him was don't ever kick a man when he's down. And he said the one time he tried to kick a man when he was down, that dude caught his leg, and proceeded to whoop his ass up and down the prison cell he was in. Now, I'm not worried about Daryl Morey whooping my ass to a prison cell, but I'm gonna just let things go where they are. So I'm not gonna kick the Sixers when they down, man. There's no reason to. They lost by 32. They were the only team in the playoffs to lose by 20 or more. Yeah. So
Non-competitive.
anyway, what I do want to talk about is something that we touched on earlier, and we actually thought it would be better for the Sixers to try to play this team. Is
Which
the
is why I
Detroit
was going to bring
Pistons.
them up. Yeah.
It's the Detroit Pistons. They lost their opening game. I don't know. Fact check me on this because I'm not wrong. I'm not 100% certain, but I think they were the only home team to lose game one. They lost 112 to 101 to the Orlando Magic, a team that had been up and down all year. It was mostly down. And most people, self included, don't see where there's room for improvement. They don't see where they're going to get better. I mean, they were one of the better defensive teams in the league as far as defensive rating, but they gave up about 109 points a game. They gave up 112. So it's not like they played out of their court. It's not like anybody on the Magic had a monster game. Conversely, Cade Cunningham showed up 39 points. Tobias Harris had 17. Outside of that, no one else scored any points. Now, maybe Karis LeVert reverts back to form from 3 years ago and can give you 20 points a game. Unlikely, because he's only getting 3 minutes a game. So I think Detroit is in serious trouble, like real trouble. What say you?
You have this beast of a man at almost 7 feet tall and Jalen Durant, who's a mismatch for anybody that the Magic have. And you give him four shot attempts. Four. The guy was almost a walking double double most of the games he played this year. And you give him four shot attempts when he can't be guarded down low, when he can just use his athleticism, size, and prowess to get you easy buckets under the hoop. And that's where I think they went wrong. I think they took the Magic for granted. They took them lightly. And this was a wake up call. Do I think that the Pistons lose the series? No. I just don't think the Magic have enough consistency to pull out three more wins against a team that was the best team in the East this year. Do I think that they may steal another win? Yeah, I think they'll steal another win. I think it goes six. Um, but I think it was a wake up call. I do think that this might have saved their head coach Jamal Mosley's job though, because the guys came and played for him. They were down and out. Pretty much everybody thought they were done after they got Wally mopped by the Sixers. Oh, they're just going to go ahead and lose and fire the guy. Not only do they win and win the play in, but then they go out and stun the Pistons in the first round, which means guys are playing for him. Maybe the message isn't as lost as we all thought. And so maybe there's a chance he comes back next year. They maybe make a move or two, and see if a full year Desmond Bain with this lineup has a little more consistency. Maybe, don't have all the injuries with Franz Wagner, some of those other guys. But for what it's worth, I mean, listen, they're doing what eight seeds are supposed to do. Come in there, start some ruckus, maybe steal a game or two, see if they can maybe change the narrative for a little bit. But all in all, I don't think that they're going to win the series.
All right. So you're saying that you expect Jalen Durant to be a better presence. Not so much.
Absolutely.
Okay. By presence, you mean what? Score more?
I mean, just for instance, they didn't have him involved in the offense. Like
Okay.
four shot attempts is crazy.
He played 33 minutes, E. He played 33
And
minutes.
that's my point. He needs to get the ball more. Kay Cunningham out there, Tommy machine gun jacking everything.
That's
Listen,
fine,
his
but when
39 was
you
great, but
go
he
get it
jacked
off
a
the
lot of
board?
those shots.
When do you go get it off the board? He had 7 rebounds. He had
Oh,
7 rebounds. What's that got to do? Well, no, like I understand your point that he needs to get more shot attempts. They need to give him the ball. But at what point do you go get it off the board? When you're 7 feet tall, as you so eloquently stated, 7 rebounds in 33 minutes. They don't have anybody. You said they don't have anybody who can check him.
They
Seven
weren't playing.
rebounds.
They weren't playing Detroit basketball though. They run more of a half court set, slow it down the run. They were playing really up tempo, really fast, a lot of half. They're coming down the court. People are trailing, pull up threes. Like this isn't what they've been doing all year. They're more of a half court set team. They play more of a methodical style of basketball, more traditional. What we saw game one was not that. And that's why they got ran out the gym. You played to what the Magic do well. Get out in the open, on the break, using the fact that they got a lot of speedy guys, especially at the guard position, get up and down the floor. You're playing to their style. They're not playing to yours. You slow the game down. You utilize what you do well. High P and R with Kate and Durant. You keep guys in motion. You got Tobias for the kickouts in the corner. You use Austin Thompson to get where he's got to get his easy lays and putbacks. You try to find spots for your shooters. They didn't do that. The whole game plan was bad. It was bad.
Okay. All of those things can be true, but you also can, you know what else can be true? That that they may not be that good. That as a team, because the one thing about the playoffs, and we've seen this before, a series that comes to mind, it's a long time ago, but it was when I first really realized that matchups matter. It was when the third seed Miami Heat, led by Alonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway, got their doors blown off by a six seed Charlotte Hornets team with Baron Davis, and I think it was Ricky Davis was on that team, and they had a lot of guys that could get up and down the floor because matchups matter. In the NBA in the playoffs, matchups matter. Personnel matters, but matchups matter. Go back maybe you'll come up with me a few years later. Shaq, Karl Malone, Gary Payton, and Kobe Bryant lose to a Detroit Pistons team that's got Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton, and Chauncey Billups, and also Antonio McDyess. Why? Because matchups matter. They forced the Lakers out of their half court set and made them run. And once they made them run, that eliminated Shaq. Now, you're saying that they need to get back Detroit Pistons basketball. I don't think it's a matter of just simply getting back Detroit Pistons basketball. I don't think they have the personnel to force their will to do that. And when he's not scoring, there's other things he can do to impact the game. He's not doing that. And when I look at Cade Cunningham, you're saying he's Tommy Machine Gun. He's actually trying to keep the team around, keep them involved because nobody else is trying to take the ball by the horns. Asor Thompson is a defensive player. He's not a guy that's going to go out and get you 20 points. Tobias Harris is going to get you 15 to 20 inconsequential, don't impact game points. He had 17. The guys that are going to get you your points are Cade Cunningham and whoever else is hot that night. Now, what Detroit can do is get their hands on people, but that's not Jalen's game. That's Isaiah Stewart's game. That's not Jalen's game. Now, if you start to play Isaiah more, can Isaiah and Jalen play at the same time? I don't think so because Jalen's not giving you anything else. He was 19 and 10 all year. I venture to believe if you go through and you kind of go through those numbers, those 19 and 10 probably were inflated numbers against bad teams. Against good teams. Well, you can take a look and see. You can fact check me on it.
He was pretty solid this year. He was pretty solid this year,
yeah, but
no matter who he played.
Solid will get you to game 6 in the first round.
What he did in the first game wasn't solid at all. If he does what he does all year and gives you 19 and 10, let's say he doesn't go 19 and 10. Let's say for shits and giggles he goes 17 and 8, 17 and 9. That's better than 3 shots and 7 rebounds. It's better. I don't care how you cut it. They lost by they didn't get listen. They didn't get beat by 32. Okay? So they were in the game. All right? And so the point I'm making is him doing a little bit more, they win. If he does what his season averages are, they win the game. The end. You got to get him the ball more. And that also comes back to my point. And I know you said you don't want to talk about it, but it's relative. If the Orlando Magic, who got blasted by the Sixers, can go into Detroit and win, how did the Sixers on God's earth think it was better to not play to the 8th seed to then go and get the Detroit Pistons, who they match up so much better against? And whether they have Embiid or not, they have a real chance to win. They have no shot at beating Boston. As soon as they won that game, you said, well, they're done. If they win, you say, all right, well, maybe they can beat Detroit. Embiid comes back game 3 or 4 and they win. If you know Embiid is out, you got to be smart. You got to be strategic. We see coaches lose games and tank all the time to get better positioning. It ain't about pride. It's about, hey, listen, we match up better against the Pistons than we do against the Celtics. We think that if we have Embiid back by game 4 and the series is 2-2, we got a chance. There's no way you can't tell me that this 76ers team couldn't go and beat Detroit 2 out of 4 games. We just saw the Orlando Magic beat them in game 1. You're not
Well,
selling me that. So all I'm saying is my frustration with certain teams like the Sixers is they're street smart and book stupid. Like, okay, penny wise, dollar foolish, whatever you want to call it. They're not going about it the right way. You're playing to, oh well, my credibility and we want to always go out and win. Man, damn all that. This is the playoffs. You're trying to get out of the second round for the first time in a decade, okay? And the only way you do that is by putting yourself in positions where you avoid the monster that you can't slay. You don't go and fight the dragon in the first round. You got to build up to go fight King Koopa at the end of Mario Brothers. You don't fight him on the first board. Like, you got to get there. You want to fight him in round one, level one, you're going to get smoked. And so, unfortunately, the Detroit Pistons got a layup matchup with the Magic. I think they're going to gentleman sweep them. They're going to hit them with the backdoor sweep. They'll win the next four, and the series will be over. Maybe the Pistons maybe the Magic still one more. And then we're off to see who they play in round two. I don't think that what we saw is going to be indicative of how the rest of the series is going to play, because I just don't think Orlando is consistent enough. I mean, listen, they did it good. They saved their coach's job. I just don't think they're consistent enough to get past that.
I do agree with you that they're not consistent enough, and I want to go back to a couple of things. First, in the case of the Detroit Magic, the Detroit and Orlando series, so kind of shut the door on that and then go to the Sixers. I actually think the Magic will win another game. I do agree with you that Detroit will find a way to win, but we agree that the second round is their ceiling this season, and it's mostly because they can't score enough points. It's not everybody's playing to their level. Maybe K can play a little better, but I think everyone's playing to their level. I'm not sold on Jalen Durant. I feel like 33 minutes, 7 rebounds is indicative of the type of player he is. He's going to have, if you play 6 games, he's going to have 2 or 3 games where he gets at least 12 rebounds, but he's also going to have 3 or 4 games where he gets 7 to 9 rebounds, because that's the type of player he is. He can't get his own shot. Time move on that.
So hold on,
Now,
you think that the Pistons lose to the Cavaliers?
yes, but I know you don't. But we'll say that the reason why you don't is because of James Harden. But we'll say that because I want to talk about your Sixers. You wrote me in on this. You're saying that they should have lost that game to play Detroit in the first round. How do you do that? Like, how do you say, you know what, we're going to not give best effort tonight? Or do you sit Tyrese Maxey? How do you do that? Because Maxey's
We're
going to
gonna
give
we're
up.
we're gonna rest our guys
Play
to
hard.
put we're gonna rest our guys to put the best lineup out there we can in the must win or go home game. People do it all the time. We put the best guys, the healthiest guys on the floor. You can come with a phantom injury. They've been doing it all year. Teams tanking with phantom fake injuries and illnesses and headaches. Listen, Tyrese Maxey has a headache or a stomach bug. He can't go tonight. It's unfortunate. We'll hope we'll have him ready for this game on Friday. And then you play him the following day.
Hold on. So you're telling me that in the playing game, which you're gonna make, if you're an owner, you're gonna make money off of. If you're the NBA, you're gonna make money off of.
Uh-huh.
You're telling me that you're gonna make Tyrese Maxey sit?
I'll make Edgecombe. I'll make Maxey. I'll make
You're
Nick
bugging. You're
Nurse. I'll
bugging.
make the
You're bugging.
mascot. I'll make whoever sit to not play Boston in the first round. Because
But that
guess what?
doesn't.
Guess what owner doesn't make money in about 3 more home games? Oh, the Sixers ownership. Because guess what? There ain't gonna be a third home game for the Sixers this year. Okay.
And that's
Whereas if you
right.
get
But
Detroit, you got a
still,
chance at 3 home games.
you're bugging. There's no way that you're going to convince healthy players to not play in an NBA play. You know how I fixed this? Hold on. You know what?
Giannis said I could play, and the Bucks didn't want to play him. What are we talking about?
You know what? You know how you fix this? You win during the regular season. You stop
That's valid.
playing a guy. You stop playing a guy who can't play more than 3 games in a month. You stop building and trying to sign. I heard a report the Sixers tried to go after Kawhi Leonard. Are you me? Are you like, are they at the Golden Girls retirement parties looking for players? Dude, this ain't 2000. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Joel Embiid. What are we chasing our child? That's the problem. You win during the regular season. You don't try to wait till the play-in and say, you know what, we're going to sit guys to avoid Boston. You win during the regular season so you don't see Boston until championship or bust. Dr. J wasn't
Or
playing
lose
Larry Bird in the
games,
first
or
round.
lose games that you could have lost during the regular season where you fall down and then you just play to get Boston. I mean, play not to get Boston.
Like it's.
I mean, they were in free for all for months. They might as well just kept falling and fell to the 9-10.
You don't allow one of your high price best free agent or a high price free agent acquisitions to use PEDs. Like, dude, this organization is a mess. It's a mess.
It is
From top
bad.
to bottom, there is no saving the Sixers. Whether they lose to Boston this week or they lose next week, they're going to lose to Boston. I don't think they would have beat Detroit. I think they're good enough to beat anybody. I think they have good players, but they don't have a good team. I think they have a good coach, but they don't have a good organization. And that always is going to manifest itself into on the floor play. They are never going to be going in the right direction because they don't have the right drivers. Daryl Morey and Josh Harris are the worst duo in professional sports. Point blank, period. Josh Harris is the worst because he's sitting around like that dude from The Simpsons that makes all the money, and he's sitting in his castle making all the
Montgomery
money
Burns.
off these trusted processors that are still running around buying tickets that are well overpriced. Joel Embiid and Daryl Morey are sitting back getting my ties, laughing at injury reports and false accusations about him not wanting to play. I wanted to play, they wouldn't let me play. An hour later, he's hurt. Dude, I can't anymore. Look, my heart's pounding again. I'm done with the Sixers, man. I'm
Well,
done
he
with
had
it.
appendicitis, which was legitimately a real thing. He did
Yeah,
have
yeah.
surgery. That really happened.
I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. He had an emergency appendectomy. Yeah, I know, I know. Dude, have you
Freak
ever, ever,
accident.
ever, ever, ever,
I've
ever,
never
ever
met
come
somebody
across?
so unlucky though. This guy
It's
has
not
more
luck.
freak injuries.
You know what luck is? When opportunity meets preparation. So when you're unprepared, you're gonna have an opportunity to get screwed. That's what happens. It ain't luck. It's not unlucky. He's unprepared. He's
Because
always
he's out of
unprepared.
shape.
You know who has emergency appendectomies? E? You know who gets sick all the time? You know who pulls muscles? E? People who don't take care of themselves. That's who hurts. People
I
who
knew
eat
you were about to
cheeseburgers
say
while
it.
they're getting stretched out. That's who gets. That's who has emergency appendectomy. That's who pulls. That's a tenderness in the knees. People like that. People who go on national TV and have a cheeseburger while they're getting stretched. Don't miss me.
I knew you were going to say that.
Miss me with that unlucky crap. He's about the most unprepared, unopportunistic person I've ever met. Oh, he's so unlucky. You're gonna go run in traffic, get hit by a car. Never met anybody more unlucky in my life. Get off the damn street. All right,
Oh.
take a deep breath. Steve Kerr. Speaking of luck and opportunity meeting preparation,
Going fishing.
word on the street is Steve Kerr may be out. I think it actually makes sense to leave the Warriors, but
Yes.
you're gonna laugh at me when I say this. I'm putting the numbers down because I gotta just bring this up. I think it makes sense for him to retire. Or move on from the Warriors. I got no qualms there. I got no issues with that. I just gotta say this though. Could you not have kept Jonathan Kuminga then? If you knew Steve Kerr was gonna leave at the end of the year, could you not have kept Jonathan Kuminga then?
That's
Just
valid.
saying.
That is
I
so.
hate
I
to
didn't
bring
even
it
think
up.
about that. That is so valid.
I hate to bring it up. You know why I think about that? Because I'm
Because
hyper aware.
Kaminga gave the Hawks who stole a win against the Knicks yesterday 19 points. I'm just saying. Now, I remember you
Yeah,
sat there and said it was him. It was a Kaminga problem. I said, nah, buddy can ball. Oh,
it
he's
may
not
have
doing
been
something
a
right. The
Kuminga
coaches and this, that, the
problem.
third. He's doing just fine in Atlanta.
Look, it may have been a Kaminga problem. We'll never know because you got rid of Kaminga, and then my man said, "Oh well, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stroll out at the end of the year." Like, and maybe Kaminga's people said, you know what, he just wants out. Maybe Kaminga's people said it's not fixable. Maybe Kaminga's people said, you know what, I'm good. We just want a fresh start. All of those things could be valid, but you know what they didn't say? Trade me or die. So I think I'm gonna keep you to the end of the year, see how things work out because I don't think Steve's coming back. I'm just saying, you whiffed on Wise. I think we all
That
agree
was a
that
bad whiff. He ain't even in the league, I don't think.
nah, he's rapping right now. You whiffed on Moody. I'll call it out. I'll say it. You whiffed on Moody. Moody's a solid player, but yeah. I would say that you kind of missed on a lot of players that could be directing your franchise right now. And the Warriors, one of the Warriors' major problems is shooting. Didn't they get rid of one of the greatest shooters of all time? I'm just asking these questions just because I'm trying to figure out what management thinks because it kind of feels like management is not listening or talking to anybody because you have to know your coach is going to leave, or at the very least, it's kind of like in a relationship when someone say they want to break up and they work things out. In the back of your mind they want to break up, so they're always going to leave. When someone mentions retirement, they may not have retired as of yet, but retirement's on their mind and they're kicking the tires on it. So, I mean, I'm asking you, what say you? Do you regret trading Kaminga now?
I say they regret trading Kaminga because no matter how this plays, this team is going to get blown up. I think Draymond's finally out of there. Thank God. Steph might get offloaded somewhere if they don't
No
land
way.
Giannis,
No
which I
way.
think is going to
No
be their
way.
one.
No way.
Hold on, hear me. If they don't land Giannis, which is the big superstar that they think pairing with Steph would give them a chance at a chip run, I think Steph quietly gets moved somewhere. I don't know where. I don't have anything in my mind, but there's literally 29 NBA teams that would take Steph Curry. The only one that probably wouldn't might be OKC because they don't have a spot for him, but everywhere else would take him right now. So you get a chance, you get a Steph Curry out there in the lineup to run around and shoot threes, not have to be the guy because he's going to play with another star.
Around and shoot
He
threes.
might ask for that to get a chance to get another title on his way out, or he might just stay there and do a farewell tour in Golden State. I mean, what's he got? Maybe 1 or 2 years left at this point. He stays hurt all regular season now. He plays what 35, 40 games a year now. I mean, he's just coasting through the finish line, and so who knows? Maybe LeBron goes to Golden State and teams up with him. We don't know. It could be the retirement home. They get Kawhi over there, and they just got a whole bunch of old fogies running around just doing whatever. I don't know, but I know that Warriors team we saw this year will not be the team we see next year. Kerr has to go. Yeah, he's going to make the Hall of Fame. He's got multiple titles, and that's all wonderful. He's a good coach, but I think he was put in the perfect situation with that team. He was given the best crop of
Mm,
talent nobody
mm.
had ever seen together, even though Mark Jackson kind of uncovered a lot of that. He got credit for taking them over that hump and won multiple titles with them, something Golden State hadn't done in eons. So he's the first ballot Hall of Fame coach, but I don't think he can go and replicate it anywhere else because he had to have a specific set of players to run that offense. And there's not another team in the league right now that has the guys he needs. They don't have another Steph Curry out there walking around. They don't have another Clay out there, all both on the same roster with a guy like a Draymond who's going to do all the grunt work. So I think he retires and goes back into like the booth or hits back there and starts doing, telecast or whatever. But I think Golden State needs a fresh voice, and I think with that fresh voice comes some roster changes. I don't know why they got rid of Kuminga if they were going to get rid of Kerr because clearly that was the tipping point between the two. If you get rid of one, you're supposed to keep the other, but then they end up getting rid of both, and it's stupid because they didn't even get good value back for Kuminga. I don't think.
Well, you raised something. You raised a couple of valid points. One, Steph Curry's not going anywhere. Mainly because Steph probably doesn't want to go anywhere. He's had opportunities to go somewhere, and there's no real reason for him to go anywhere. There's no place he's gonna plug into. There's no contender that needs a player. And as far as Giannis coming, Giannis ain't walking through that door either. They don't have anything to give Milwaukee for Giannis. So it's not a matter of do they want him. We want a lot of things in life, but if we can't barter a good system, we can't find a way to give them equal value. You're not going to get it. Now, as far as Steve Kerr, we need to keep we're all Mark Jackson people. Like we all empathize with the situation Mark Jackson was put in. We feel like he was unceremoniously cut from his feet right before the team took off, and he played a role in their development. But unlike John Gruden, Steve Kerr was a vital part of the Warriors' success. Him being able to manage Draymond Green's personality and ego should not be overlooked. Him finding a way to implement Draymond into the offense and allowing Draymond and in most cases Steph and Iguodala and Sean Livingston and guys who quite frankly were tweeners to have legitimate positions on the court and use them defensively and offensively in an effective manner, finding use for them, making them efficient players. Draymond in game 7, when LeBron came back from down 3-1 and Cleveland won, in Cleveland, we did it. Cleveland's won championship. Draymond kept the Warriors in the game for the first half. It was Draymond's 3-pointers. It was Draymond's defense. It was Dray. So, but Draymond just doesn't go out and do that. He's got to be put in position to do that. When
Right,
Mark Jackson was
right.
there, David Lee was getting a
Was the
lot of
guy.
those minutes. So you want to give their credit. Now, the second part of that, identifying that Klay Thompson was an all-world defender and putting him in position to be that type of defender. The Warriors never had a tremendous shot blocker. So now you got to find a defense that allows your best defensive attributes to be your perimeter defenders. Put guys in position where pick and roll doesn't hurt you, which is a staple of basketball. One of the things that the Warriors were able to do, even when they added Kevin Durant and had a lot of that success, is they were able to have high value, high IQ perimeter defenders who didn't need to switch. So when you ran a pick and roll, there was
Yeah,
no
guys are just stand
guys
with the
could just
ball.
be right there. They didn't have, it wasn't like, oh, we're trying to find a weak defender. and getting Steph to buy in to be a defensive player. Right now, Steph Curry is one of the best. Well, not right now because he's always hurt, but there was a small window where he went from one of the worst defensive players in the game to one of the better ones. And it wasn't just effort, it was technique, it was knowing your opponent. He went from being a liability on defense to, I don't want to say being, to a capable defender. That I feel confident saying that.
Okay, I'll give you
That you
capable
know
defender.
that
That's
that
that's that's being very very generous. Capable defender because Steph Curry and defense have never been equally aligned. But I'll give you capable
and
defender. His effort is there.
and then you look
And
at the
Clay's
guys
was
that,
too. Clay was a legit defender until he started blowing his ACL and his knees out.
and that's another thing, getting Clay to buy it. But another thing that he never got credit for, because Jonathan Kuminga was a disaster. Wiseman was a disaster. He could not develop young players, more than likely. But he was able to get the most out of guys like Juan Toscano Anderson, guys like Gary Payton, guys like Andrew Bogut. Remember, Andrew Bogut was, I don't want to say a bust, but he wasn't an influential player in Milwaukee.
Yeah, not
He
for a
was
one overall.
Yeah, he wasn't doing anything great there. He comes there, becomes a champion. Getting that team to buy in and be a collective unit and building themselves around jump shooters. Charles Barkley had the line of the century when he says, I don't care what y'all say, you're never gonna get me to like this little girly basketball that they play. That girly basketball won 3 NBA titles, and there is no other Steph Curry. You said there's no Steph Curry's walking around. There will never be, and I hate to use the word never, there will never be another Steph Curry. There will
I
never
agree.
be another 6'3" guy that can pump fake your Lily from half court. I remember watching a game on Christmas Day. Steph Curry hits not a half court, but like one step behind half court three. And I looked to a friend of mine and I said, yo, man, as a coach, what do you do with that? And we both
Nothing.
laughed. We said, because if you're out here defending him and he pump fakes you out there, you're like, why are you going for a pump fake? And you're like, bro, because he's Steph Curry.
Right.
He
If I
can hit
don't go
that
for it and he
shot.
shoots the three, you're gonna say, why did you put a
He can
hand up
hit
or
that
jump?
shot. It's like, why are you going for a pump fake at half court? Because he can hit that. He just hit that to me. So, what he did with the Warriors, we need to give him credit for. He had a tremendous impact on the Warriors. Not just that, tremendous impact on basketball. And he did it with a team, and I want to say this slow. He did it with a team that did not have one of their best players was not a first overall pick. He did it with a team of guys, none of their best players were top 5 picks. His core value players were all guys that people passed on for whatever the reason. Clay was in the draft with Kyrie Irving and Kawhi Leonard. If you go back and look at that draft, Clay probably isn't the first guy you pick. Steph Curry was in the James Harden, Blake Griffin draft. Stop me. People thought Hasheem the Beat was going to be a better player than
I
Steph
remember
Curry.
Hasheem to be. What's he doing these days? Probably playing over in
Rapping.
Europe somewhere.
He's somewhere rapping. Johnny Flynn, Ricky Rubio. These were guys that people thought would
Damn,
be
Johnny
better.
Flynn. Talk about bust out name. I remember Johnny Flynn was a dog at the Cuse.
And I want to just drop one more nugget on you and how great Steph Curry was, but how much we need to give credit. And we give credit to Mark Jackson. But dude, Steve Kerr did more than just set the table, man. He added some seasoning. He made some changes in that recipe. He got some new pots and pans. He sauteed instead of fried. He did some things. The rookie of the year in the Steph Curry draft was Tyreke Evans out of Philly. So Steve Kerr did a
Tyreek Evans
magnificent job.
hasn't played pro basketball in like 5 years.
I'm just saying, out of Chesapeake, 900, what was it?
That's my guy.
957 wins. That should be commended. So I think Steve Kerr did more than just show up. I think he did a tremendous job, and I want to give him credit for that. It is time for him to walk away. And you don't trade Draymond. You don't trade Steph Curry. You just do like you did with Larry Bird and Kevin McHale, man. When it's over, it's over. You draft a little better, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they've been drafting woefully.
And you damn sure don't trade a guy who can give you probably 15 for no reason. Doesn't make sense. Now, speaking of no reason, speaking of not making sense, get comfortable for this one. Got on my red here, got on my Houston Rocket red here.
Oh man, here we go.
LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers are playing an opponent. I can't remember who. They had a tremendous first game. They said, this is the best I've ever seen LeBron play in years. I've never seen him play this level of play. But on the other side of the court, there's supposed to be a guy that It's on the same level as LeBron. There's a guy that is one of the best players of all time. That's what you keep telling me. And his stat line was kind of peculiar. How many points did Kevin Durant score in that game? I can't remember. E.
He didn't
Yeah, I
play.
can't remember. E.
He didn't play.
Okay. Now he didn't play. That's one nugget.
But you
That's
know, if he could play, he would have.
yeah, I know. If I could have played, I would have played. Then the report comes out that Kevin Durant is frustrated. Golly gee, I never saw that coming. He wanted to play, but they wouldn't let him play. This is stop. I'm coughing because this is so unfamiliar for me. It's like I'm so confused. I've never seen this happen before. And he wanted to play, but they wouldn't let him play. Somebody's holding Kevin Durant back. These hold me back. What are your comments about what's going on in Houston, E? A team led by LeBron James, gotta make sure I had him, Marcus Smart, uh who's the dude that he played in he's played in Memphis, he's played in Detroit, he's a shooter, I can't remember his name. Caucasian fellow. Oh, it doesn't matter because I think he was the leading scorer of the game. And my guy DeAndre Ayton. Holla if you hear me. Ayton dominating. Gave them talk to me.
It's so
Talk,
annoying.
talk to me, E. Come on. Tell me why it ain't Kevin Durant's fault, E. Tell me why Kevin
Listen,
Durant didn't do what
man,
Kevin Durant
if
does.
they won't let
Hold
you
on, let me
play, they won't let you play. But I guarantee he'll play games 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
what does that mean exactly?
That means that he couldn't play because they said he was physically unable to play. He thought he wanted to play. He wanted to go out there and risk it. We've all seen Kevin Durant go
He
down
get
in the
hurt,
playoffs
E.
with knee injuries.
How did he get hurt, E? Oh,
I don't
tell
know.
me. You don't
I don't know
know?
how he got hurt. No,
Use a
I don't
lie.
know.
Use a lie.
I
Kevin
don't
Durant,
know.
ladies and gentlemen, reports are Kevin Durant was diving for a loose ball in practice, preparing for the playoffs, and got hurt, bruised his knee. Listen, man, you can't make this dude up. And Kevin Durant is one
All
of the
I know is he
greatest.
had a hamstring strain a couple of years ago. He went and played it, and boom, he goes out there and blows out his knee. So, or his Achilles. I
No,
can't remember
that's
which one it
not how
was.
that happened. He had an Achilles. He had a strained Achilles. They told him not to
There it is.
play.
Strained Achilles went out and then
They
popped it.
told him not to play. He went out and it popped. Yeah, that
And
okay.
that's why when he said, "Hey, my knee is okay," they said, "Absolutely not. You take this game off. We'll figure it out." Sometimes you got to protect the teammate. You got to protect the man
Yeah,
from
you're
himself.
right. You got to protect the man from himself. They
You need him for the
can't
rest
take
of
the
those
phone
games.
can't take the phone out of his hand, but they can stop him from playing. They can't stop the man from getting into petty beefs with burner accounts, but they can stop him from playing.
That's not the
It
same. That doesn't have
is the
anything to do with his
same.
on-court
They
performance.
stopped him from playing, but they can't stop him from tweeting. Stop it, dude. Listen, injuries happen. They're part of the game. I'm not saying they're not. And I'm not trying to poo-poo his health. I hope he gets back and is healthy. What I am doing is emphasizing the fact that it's always something with Durant. And that's the issue. That's why I didn't like the move to Houston. I felt like they should have gotten better. They could have gotten somebody else for Jalen Green.
They need Fred Van Vliet. The end.
The other team is missing Luca and Austin Reeves, and you hollered about Fred Van Fleet. The other
They've been
team
without him
is
all
missing
year.
Luca and Austin Reeves, and you're hollering about Fred Van Fleet. Yeah, you can't even look at the camera and say that. You can't
I,
even look at the camera and say that. Yeah, I'm
listen,
not talking about last week. I'm not talking about 2 weeks ago. I'm not talking about December. I'm talking about January. I am talking about April. That team is missing Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, and this racial slur just said, well, they need Fred Van Fleet. Got half of them on there. End the
I
show
said they're
right there.
missing Fred Van Vliet, and it's okay for them to miss him. They still could use him. All I'm simply saying is, I think Kevin Durant comes back. They make a series of this. This goes 7. And when you
I
get to game
say
7, it's a toss up. Anybody can win.
I say game two is critical. The Lakers have to win game two. They have to step on Houston's heart. Kevin Durant will come back because he loves to be a hero. We all know that. They have to win the game two. LeBron knows that. I'm always going to bet on LeBron through through any shape, size, storm, weather. I'm always
Oh,
going to
we
bet on
know.
LeBron. You know,
We know.
I'm always going to bet on LeBron. So Ramon is going to make this happen. But the moral of the story is, ladies and gentlemen, don't ever believe in Kevin Durant. Just enjoy the show. Just like he says, just enjoy the show because it's going to be a show. God help us, it's going to be a show. Phoenix is not in the playoffs. Oh, that's right, they are. The Brooklyn Nets, they floundered after he left. Golden State, what did they do? Oklahoma City, what did they do? I'm not saying he's an albatross. I'm just saying he likes to hang around. That's all I'm going to say about it. Bruised his knee in practice. Yeah, exactly. That's it for this episode of Unparalleled Sports Talk. If you like this episode, make sure you share, comment, subscribe, whatever your podcast platform allows you to do. He is Everett Taylor Jr. I'm Kwame Fisher Jones. Until next week, we appreciate your time and yeah, you be easy.